Hello, I'm Anya Camau from Anya Camau Fashion Academy. I always get a lot of requests from people who are more or less between two sizes and who don't know what block size to ask to get started with my pattern making course. So I did a little video series to show how easily and quickly you can adapt a block. I will tell you what size to ask for depending on your measurements, and then how to adapt the block of a bodice, skirt and pants to your measurements. For this showcase, I took the measurements of three of you. There is Brigitte, then Louise and Natalie, and I thank them for sending me their agreements. So they can luckily watch the videos and directly correct their blocks. For others, you will have to adapt them according to your measurements. I will show you how to do it step by step along with all calculations. It's not complicated and it's pretty fast. We will start with Brigitte and we will adapt the block of a skirt for her. Of course, don't forget to subscribe to my blog anyacamau.academy. You can also subscribe to my YouTube channel, Anya Camau Fashion Academy, to receive notices of my new videos as soon as I upload them. You can also like my content, make comments, and contact me using the forms that are on almost every of my pages, and ask me the questions you have to ask. The first thing you will need to do is download my sizes table that you will find clicking on the link available on this page. This sizes table ranges from 36 to 44, which are the usual ready-to-wear sizes. Once you have downloaded this size table, you will take your measurements, following carefully the explanation that I provide in my free course, Introduction to Pattern Making. Here you have a look at three measures: the bust, the waist, and the hips. With these three measurements, you will be able to determine your column, that is, your size. We are going to take care of Brigitte. Here are Brigitte's measurements. You see that it is 80 cm for waist circumference, 98 cm at the hips, for a total height of 1.75 meter. As I will take care of Brigitte's skirts and trousers, the measure that interests me here is that of the hips. For your skirt and pant block, look at this line and look at this line to compare it with your hips measurement. Find what is the closest side. If you are between two sizes, take the larger one. This determines your size between 36 and 44. Since we just saw that Brigitte's hip circumference corresponds to her size 40, I printed out the block pattern of a skirt in size 40. And I built it up by putting the markers together, all the letters together. If you've never done it, refer to my Introduction to Pattern Making course, where I show you how to build your block. Here you have two pieces, half the front, which are marked devant and which can be recognized by its two similar dots to the waist, and half the back that are marked dos, where you have a larger dot and a small dot that goes down to the hips along the middle of the back. Here you have the two sidelines. Here the middle of the front and there the middle of the back. We will mainly take care of the waistline. Since the hip circumference is accurate, because it corresponds to Brigitte's measurements. The whole bottom of the skirt goes straight down and there's no need to change it. We will modify it from the hips going up to the waist. Brigitte's measurements show a waist circumference of 80 cm. Compared to a size 40, which provides a waist circumference of 72 cm, there is therefore 8 cm more to give on this waistline. As we are here on a half front and a half back, we are working on half of the waistline. So instead of giving out 8 cm, we are going to distribute 4 cm only, that is half of it. We could distribute this 4 cm on the sides with 2 cm and 2 cm because you always have to balance the corrections values. But it's not a good idea because the skirt would become a kind of tube and its fitting would be bad enough. Instead, we will have to work with the dots as well as with the sides, in a balanced way, keeping especially the same values on the side so that these two lines, these two curves result the same back and front. Since we have to distribute 4 cm, we will add 2 cm to the back and 2 cm to the front. Now, let's decide how we're going to add those 2 cm. If Brigitte has an harmonious silhouette, we will be able to distribute half and half, that is, half on the side and half in the dots. Making the dots smaller for the waistline gets it bigger, and we will do the same in the back. That's going to be what I'm show you. For the front, I decided to put 1 cm on the side, but let's start with the dots. I want to give 1 cm at the level of my dots, that is, to enlarge my waist by 1 cm. To enlarge my waist, I have to make my dots smaller. In a balanced way, I will reduce each by half, that is 0.5 cm. It's very simple. I place my ruler each time on the outer side of the dot, the one which looks at the side of the skirt, and I remove 0.5 cm so that I will have removed in all 1 cm to the dots. I draw this new dot side. It's a small but relevant change. Then I biff the old line that is no longer good. What's my result? I gain, in addition to the waist circumference, 0.5 plus 0.5, which is 1 cm. And on the side, starting perpendicular to that middle line, I will simply add 1 cm. And I know this point is going to be connected to the hips like this. To finish with this front piece, I take my French curves and place its most rounded part at the waist, where the curve is well rounded. Then I will connect the new point at the waist to the sideline at the hips in the most harmonious way as possible. Similarly, on this small segment of the waist, I start from the waistline close to the second dot, and I join my new side point drawing a new waistline. And then I'm done with Brigitte's front piece. As you know, my sewing pattern making and fashion design courses are completely free. It's a challenge I've set upon myself. However, you can click on an orange rectangle marked Patreon at the right side of my pages. What is Patreon? It's a website that allows people who love an artist or a creator to become a patron. It's a very useful network, a website that is known all over the world. Indeed, it is the biggest. All payments are secured. There are absolutely no security problem. The positive point is that it's easy to set up and you stop whenever you want. If you don't want to follow this artist anymore, you stop without any issue. What I have set on my Patreon page is to give you exclusive access as a reward for your generosity and help, because I need it. Exclusive content, that is to say videos, tips and showcases that come to complete all my courses. Videos that you will find only on the Patreon website and to which you will only have access if you are my patron. We are finished with the waistline on the front piece. We will now do the same for the back. In the back there are two dots that are different. Here is a big dot that will give shape over the buttocks in this area and a small dot that gives an arch to the skirt. Depending on your morphology, you are more or less arched. The more arched you are, the bigger the dot will be. The less arched you are, the thinner it will be, and it may eventually disappear. Compared to Brigitte's morphology, I have to reduce this dot by 1 cm, but I don't want to decrease this little dot as it's already small. It is only 1 cm wide. I decide here that I'm going to give all on this big dot the full 1 cm. If you are not arched at all, you can remove 0.5 cm here at the back and 0.5 cm at the big dot, but here I will decrease only the larger dot. In the same way, I draw a new outer side to this dot, the one that is towards the side of the skirt, and then I beef my old line. I'm redrawing the heads of the dot as well. This 1 cm I just removed from the dot will add to the waist. I still have 1 cm to add, so I will enlarge in the same way by 1 cm at the side, perpendicular to the middle line. And I get this point. In the same way, by setting my French curves with its most rounded side at the waist, I draw a side line as harmonious as possible like this. I currently work with a felt pen for you to see well enough, but you can redo this line several times since you are using a black pencil. There's one last check to do. It's about sidelines on both sides, between the hips, which are at the junction of the sheets, and the waist. I want to have exactly the same length to be able to easily sew these two sides together. It's a little check. Take your tape measures along the curve to measure it. Place it along the line vertically and then follow this line to accurately measure it. This is the only way to do it well. I find 24.7 cm. And then I look at the other side to check if I have the same length, setting my tape measure slowly. I find the same length, but here at the waist. There is a small spot that I do not like, because the curve must remain as harmonious as possible. Thus, I correct this spot with my French curves. We have now completely adapted this curved block, adding 1 cm and 1 cm at the front, and then 1 and 1 at the back. So we've added in all 8 cm. One last thing. Brigitte told me that her total height is 1.75 meter, while my size table takes in account a statistical average height of 165 meter. So we're 10 cm above it. There's therefore a good chance that Brigitte's hips height will be longer. That is, the distance between her waist and her hips is longer. Brigitte will have to measure on herself, the hips being the place where she is the widest down, and the waist, the place where she is the thinnest above. I consider that she needs to add 1 cm to the hips height. I'm going to show you how to do it. This can be more, or this can be less for you, but here it's 1 cm more. Brigitte is taller, so it's her hips line that will go down. It's important that this line is accurately set, because she will use it a lot to make her patterns in the future. It's not hard to draw this new line. I just make a line parallel to the hips line of a block. And here is this new hips line for Brigitte's block. And now we're done with Brigitte's skirt block. It's fully adapted to her measurements. On the other hand, if you have a specific problem following my pattern making or sewing course, contact me and send me your pictures to anya.camau@gmail.com. I will send you useful advice and tips so that you can go on with my free courses. And don't forget that it is with your feedback that my blog can progress, that I can go further with my free courses. Thanks to you. I'm waiting for your subscriptions, your likes, and your comments.